From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN News this Wednesday. I'm Augusta McDonnell. Jason Stiff has our forecast in just a few minutes, but let's get right to our top story. Kaylee Klein, just 2 short months ago, was in a Billings hospital bed. The 23-year-old fighting for her life after she says her drink was spiked with antifreeze at a Cody, Wyoming bar on New Year's Eve. Now we have an update. The Park County Attorney's Office reviewed the case and said there's no evidence anyone poisoned Klein or gave her antifreeze. With more on that report just recently released, here's MTN's Matt Carmack.
Since New Year's, Kaylee Klein's story has been featured all across the country, here on MTN and even Inside Edition. But a new report released by the Park County Attorney questions some of those events Klein said happened that fateful night.
That makes any sense to you?
I shouldn't have lived.
This is security footage captured on Klein's camera from the night she almost lost her life. Footage taken before the 23-year-old and mother of 2 slipped into a 4-day coma.
Ultimately, it was terrifying because I felt like I was burning from the inside out.
Klein was ringing in the new year at the Silver Dollar Bar in Cody before she started suddenly having seizures and couldn't move. She and her family believe someone slipped antifreeze into her drink because they say her consistent seizures stopped when she was later given an antifreeze antidote.
But the fact that the antidote that they treated me with was the only thing that my body rapidly responded to.
But it turns out Klein may not have actually consumed antifreeze. A new report just released by Park County Attorney Brian Skorick says no ethylene glycol, the main ingredient in antifreeze, was ever found in Klein's system. Skorick's report quotes a medical examiner who wrote, quote, "If Miss Klein had ingested ethylene glycol while drinking alcohol, the ethylene glycol would pass through her system without being broken down." Furthermore, quote, "Just because Miss Klein seemed to get better after the antidote was administered does not indicate that ethylene glycol was present." The medical examiner also added that Klein would have needed to consume a large amount of antifreeze to experience symptoms of poisoning, given her blood alcohol concentration that night, which was nearly twice the legal limit. Instead, the report identifies another possible cause, a combination of alcohol and Wellbutrin, an antidepressant that when mixed with alcohol can increase the risk of seizure.
It's rare that that combination would cause anything substantial, certainly seizures or other things.
Dr. Eric Arzubi is a medical psychiatrist. While he doesn't know Klein's case personally, he agrees that alcohol and antidepressants can have bad side effects when mixed with each other. But he says it's not usually enough to cause this kind of damage.
What's important to understand is that when somebody's taking medication, often the effects of that medication can almost be canceled out by drinking alcohol.
The report also says camera footage from the bar didn't capture anyone putting anything into Klein's drinks. Even so, Kaylee's family isn't convinced. Kaylee and her mom declined MTN's request to do an interview because they say they're now seeking legal counsel. But they claim Kaylee was not taking Wellbutrin at the time of the incident and believe the tests for antifreeze were taken too late, leading to a negative result. In Cody, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Hey, good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Taking a look at our satellite and radar composite. Some light rain and snow showers falling mainly in north central and northeastern Montana. We've had some rain and snow mixes around Choteau County, Hill County, extending all the way toward Fort Peck. And just about 15 minutes ago, 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Jordan. So we have some rain showers, some gusty wind, still some more light snow being reported around the Glendive area, pushing all the way into western North Dakota. But we also have a lot more clouds moving our direction. As you can see, they're moving in over the Gem State right now, giving a good portion of our region chances for some snow. I have a complete 7-day forecast with all the details coming up in a few minutes.
And let's take a look at your top headlines now in today's leading look. According to a post on X or Twitter on Tuesday, ICE Homeland Security investigators in Kalispell worked with Spokane Border Patrol to take 17 undocumented immigrants into custody in Big Fork. The Post reports the ICE HSI agents utilized a tip and set up an operation at a construction site in Big Fork. The agents served a notice of inspection at the work site and found 17 undocumented immigrants. All of those individuals were taken into custody and found ineligible to remain in the United States. MTN spoke with Flathead County Sheriff Brian Hano, who shared that the department was not involved with the raid and believes that ICE is running on their own system with civil warrants. MTN reached out to ICE for further details but have not heard back yet. And the Montana Department of Livestock is warning residents of the avian influenza, also known as bird flu, after a Canada goose was found with the disease in Gallatin County. According to the department, the goose is just the latest of 25 bird flu infections identified across the country. Symptoms include swollen eyes, discolored feet, and drops in egg production. And we're learning more about a Billings man accused of leading police on a chase last week. According to charging documents, Anthony Demetrius Humphrey is facing 4 felony charges of criminal endangerment, as well as 3 misdemeanor charges. The situation began at Billings Senior High School when the school resource officer was alerted that Humphrey had a no contact order against him. Several pedestrians nearly being struck. BPD officers finally disabled the defendant's vehicle by ramming into it. The 8-year-old girl was found safe. A state senator from Missoula says she takes full responsibility for her actions after being cited for a DUI over the weekend in Helena. MTN's Robin Iron has more.
A Democratic lawmaker from Missoula pleaded guilty yesterday in Helena to driving under the influence. According to a police report, Senator Ellie Boldman was found sleeping in her running vehicle, which was blocking the road on Sunday in Helena. She admitted to being intoxicated and consented to a blood alcohol test that measured at 0.149, above the legal limit of 0.08. In a statement released from Senator Boldman, she said after being out with friends, she was waiting for a ride in her vehicle and fell asleep and had no intention to drive. In Helena Municipal Court on Monday, Senator Boldman was ordered to pay a $1,000 fine and sentenced to 180 days in jail, with all 180 days suspended. This means she will not serve any time behind bars and cannot enter any bars or casinos for 6 months. Senator Boldman said she is ready to move forward. The case is over. I am committed to getting back to the work of the session, completing the necessary penalties, and I will make sure that anything like this will ever happen again. I take full responsibility for what happened, and I appreciate the respectfulness of law enforcement through the entire incident. Senate Democratic leadership released a statement stating, "We are aware of Senator Boldman's incident over the weekend. We are disappointed in her lack of judgment that evening. However, we are happy that she has taken responsibility for her actions, both publicly and before the court." Senator Boldman is serving her 7th legislative session. Back to you, Mark.
A last chance to say one last goodbye. Former students of Holy Rosary Catholic School, which became the Gallatin County Law and Justice Center, were given access to the building before it's demolished. MTN's Edgar Cedillo joined the former students as they bid their old school farewell.
The Gallatin County Law and Justice Center has officially closed its doors to the public, but before it was the L&J, it used to be known as Rosary Catholic School. And on Tuesday, many students got the chance to walk the halls of this building one last time before this piece of Bozeman history gets demolished.
Very good memory. So I continue to wish God's blessing and good health.
Hugs and yearbooks were on hand on Tuesday as former students of Holy Rosary Catholic School said goodbye one last time.
It's been here for so long as a Law and Justice Center, so it's a little easier to say goodbye.
Judy, Ron, and Patty snapped pictures outside of the plaque that commemorated the Catholic school before it was converted into the Law and Justice Center.
And it just conjures up some really fun memories.
Dozens of students who attended the school until it shut its doors in 1976 had the chance to say one last bye.
I didn't make the effort to go and see that, and I always regretted it, so I'm glad that we got to get this put together so we could come down here.
With yearbook in hand, Connie Blackwood Krogstad walked the dark halls of the basement where the Gallatin County morgue last stood and what used to be the school's cafeteria and gym.
Through and say, well, this was our Latin class, we had bookkeeping in here, we had the science lab, and that was not my favorite place. We were a close bunch. We got to go to a lot of the out-of-town games.
Many of the former students credited around their former principal, Father Dan Shea.
Remember the A&W was just down the street? Oh, yeah.
Father Shea was tasked with leading the school. As a young priest himself, he was only a few years older than some of the students.
They wanted to have a priest in charge, so I came down, the youngest member of the faculty, 26 years old, and I and all the families gave their blood, sweat, and tears to maintain the school.
Father Shea says that he worked tirelessly to make sure that the school had a feeling of community for the students.
We would put on theme masses before football and basketball games.
Even as the demolition process has started, the memories of the school haven't faded.
Like the hallways are still the same. They still look the same, and you walk into the classroom. Of course, it looks different, but you remember, you know, that was the science lab and that was the music room. And
as they walk through the halls, this time as parents and grandparents, they each have a greater appreciation.
Involved all the parents were to make this school work. It wasn't just the faculty. Parents really held it up, I felt, and I didn't realize that or appreciate it until we left.
Right.
And even becoming a parent myself.
Father Shea and these Bulldogs say that they're no stranger to goodbyes.
My grade school and my high school in Anaconda are gone. And so I have been through this before. Rather than lamenting and being, in addition to being sad over it, I'm grateful.
Bulldogs!
In Bozeman, Edgar Cidio, MTN News.